150 years ago, communication took days, even weeks. Letters travelled by horse and ship, and the fastest way to send a message was through a series of coded dashes and dots. Then, one invention changed everything, allowing people to hear each other's voices over vast distances for the first time in history. Let's find out what it is and how it has a connection to Scotland. Hello and welcome to the Scottish English Podcast, the show where you can improve your English while learning about Scotland's history, culture, and of course, our famous accents. I'm Claire, and today we're talking about a Scottish inventor whose work revolutionised communication, Alexander Graham Bell, the man behind the telephone. But before I get started, remember you can download the transcript of this episode, which includes definitions as well as collocations and idiomatic phrases for some of the more challenging words. And also do subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when the next episode of the Scottish English Podcast comes out. So, how did Alexander Graham Bell, Scottish-born scientist, go from humble beginnings to changing the way the world connects? Let's find out. Early life and Scottish roots. Alexander Graham Bell was born in Edinburgh in 1847 into a family that was deeply involved in the study of sound and speech. His father, Alexander Melville Bell, developed a system called visible speech, allowing deaf people to communicate, and this had a profound influence on young Alexander's life. Although Bell eventually moved to Canada and then the United States, his Scottish roots remained a key part of his identity. The invention of the telephone. His interest in sound led him to experiment with ways to transmit sound over long distances. At the time, communication was mostly done through the telegraph, which could only send simple coded messages. But Bell wanted to go further. He wanted to send actual human voices through wires. In 1876, after years of collaboration and research with his assistant Watson, Bell successfully created the first working telephone. His famous words during the first phone call were, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." And just like that, the world was forever changed. A sceptical public and a communication revolution. At first, people were sceptical. Who needed a telephone when you could just send a telegram? But Bell was determined to show the world that his invention was the future of communication. He demonstrated it at exhibitions, and soon individuals and businesses saw its potential. By the late 19th century, telephone networks were expanding rapidly, and Alexander Graham Bell was a household name. Despite his success, Bell never stopped inventing. Throughout his life, he worked on many other innovations, including advancements in aeronautics, hydrofoils, and even early metal detectors. He also continued his work with the deaf community, believing that communication was at the heart of human connection. Bell's legacy and the impact of his invention. So, the next time you pick up your phone, take a moment to think about the Scottish man who made it all possible. Alexander Graham Bell's invention changed the way the world works, lives, and connects with each other. And even though he spent most of his life abroad, his Scottish heritage remained an important part of his story. That's all for today's episode of the Scottish English Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a comment. What do you want to know about Scottish history and culture? Maybe I'll do a video on it. And if you want to continue improving your English, check out the transcript in the show notes. Thanks for listening. See you later.